Hi, I'm Dr. Alanna Braun, and I'm here to talk to you about motivational interviewing. If you are like me, you've been told to use this as a technique when you're talking to families who are kind of resistant or reluctant with vaccines, but nobody's ever actually explained what motivational interviewing is or how to use it to talk to families. So that's what we're going to do today. So the first step when you're talking with families is that you want to express empathy. They have valid concerns. It's really important that they feel heard and that we express empathy with them. So when you're talking with them, you want to reflect that concern back at them. I hear that you are concerned about the side effects of this vaccine. And then you want to make sure that they understand that you think that that's valid. You know, I've had other people express that same concern. I know you want to do the best thing for your child. It's okay if families aren't sure or if they don't feel like they have enough information, we can work with that. It's when we have families that are very vehemently opposed to vaccines that it's really hard to have a conversation. But again, it's really normal for them to have concerns and they want to do the best thing that they can for their child, and we want to help them do that. The next step is going to be that we want to develop some discrepancy between the decision that a family might be making for their child and what they want for their child. So when you're talking with them about vaccines, it's helpful to ask a family, tell you what they think that you're recommending the vaccine for. In the example of the HPV vaccine, what a family might say to you when you ask them, why am I recommending this vaccine for your child? They might say, it's because you think that this vaccine is going to protect my child from cancer. And so once they've said that, what we can do is sort of set that stage between the difference between the goal of protecting their child from cancer and their decision to potentially not do that vaccine that would protect their child from cancer. And so then once you have that set, that plants the seed for them to make a change. So the same technique would be used for when you're talking with families about dietary or exercise changes or quitting smoking. When we're talking with families, expect them to be resistant, expect them to have concerns. That's why we are having this conversation. Try not to argue with them. We're not trying to win an argument. You're not winning a debate. We are having a conversation and we're trying to persuade them to make a decision that we think is important for their child. When we get upset or when people perceive that we might be upset or frustrated, they're going to feel attacked, and that's going to make them less likely to make a change. So again, you want to be calm and you want to present any sort of information that you have without seeming judgmental. And then what you want to do is ask them if you can provide some additional information. So when you ask, they're going to be more receptive to hearing what you have to say, and maybe more likely to really sort of take that information in. And so then you want to share your information with them and then give your strong recommendation about the vaccine. But then it's going to come back to them at the end. We want to make sure that we are supporting their own autonomy. This is their decision. We're not forcing them to make any decision for their child. You can tell them again what you think is important and what you think the right decision may be. But again, at the end of the day, it's their decision and it's their child, and they want to do the best thing for their child. So to recap, when you're talking with families who are using the motivational interviewing technique, you want to do your best to stay calm and not get upset. When you're asking about a concern, you want to ask about that in non-judgmental language and reflect it back at them so that they feel that you are empathetic and that you really understand what their concern is. And what you want to do is ask the family if you can share additional information about the vaccine or about their concern, and then follow that up with a strong recommendation again to give that vaccine today as part of the routine vaccines. And then when you're talking with families, you want to emphasize the social norms and de-emphasize negatives. You don't want to focus on any of the sort of bad things that they might have heard, but really emphasize that, I've had a lot of other families who have had the same concern, and at the end of the visit, most families choose to have this vaccine for their child, and their children do fine with it. So again, I'm Dr. Alanna Braun, and thank you so much for your time. I hope this has been helpful.